Topic time.
Okay, so patience, the ability to accept delay, suffering, or annoyance without complaining or becoming angry. In the Bible, patience is the ability to endure challenges and delays without becoming upset. It's an important aspect of relationships with God and others, and is considered a fruit of the Spirit. Patience is a fruit of the Spirit, according to Galatians 5, verses 22 and 23. It lists patience as one of the fruits of the Spirit. Patience in marriage is the ability to be understanding and understanding your partner's needs, even when things don't go as planned. It can involve being open to change, working through disagreement, and accepting the healthy marriages, and accepting that healthy marriages go through ups and downs. A few signs of patience include flexibility in adapting to changing circumstances, ability to stay calm and composed in challenging situations, appreciation for the present moment and the journey, and also the willingness to wait for things to unfold naturally. And so tonight we are looking at the role of patience in marriage, practicing empathy and understanding. Joining us on the line to have this discussion on Topic Time is Mr. Innocent Asema. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Harry. Good evening, Nana. Good evening, Mina, and cherished listeners.
All right. How has your day been?
Well, the day has been quite challenging, but it's very fulfilling here at the end of the day.
Okay. Thank you once again for your company tonight. All right, so let's begin it this way. What things do most couples not have patience for at all in marriage?
Okay. Well, in a relationship or in marriage, there are certain things that happens that sometimes partners don't seem to have patience when dealing with them. But it all boils down to the traits of every individual. But one of the things that most times people are not patient with is accepting each other and looking at the challenges of each other or the flaws of each other. Most times we expect to see our partners to be perfect, forgetting that we are not the same. We are coming from different backgrounds, different species, so we are not patient in understanding. And when the issues comes up, also taking time to listen before we speak, we tend to overreact when it comes to issues. So basically, most of them has to do when it comes to finances, when it comes to issues relating to intimacy, talking about those issues. Most time people are not that patient with them. And then sometimes when it also comes in relation to health care, sometimes others are also not patient with that. Maybe the man feels once you are sick or you are not feeling well, you should be able to quickly know that you have to take your medication. And if you don't take it, the hell break loose. Everybody will talk, everybody will yell. And instead of taking time to rather understand the person you're dealing with, people tend to abuse it. And so those are some instances where personal friends are patient when it comes to dealing with each other.
All right. That's quite expansive from you. So then, how do we show patience in marriage if we have identified the things that we are impatient with, let's say at the beginning of the marriage or maybe somewhere in the middle? How does one show or activate their patience levels to as it were meet the needs of the relationship. In other words, you may not be the most patient person. However, at some point in a relationship, such as marriage, you have got to learn how to be that. So, how do people show it? Maybe if there are some steps or ways of doing this, and a better way of doing it as we grow as well.
Okay, so it's important that when we find ourselves in such a situation, we first of all I encourage that you practice active listening first. It is important to listen before you act. I was telling somebody today that sometimes there are instances that you rather need to not say anything, because what you say will rather end up affecting your partner in a negative sense. So one, you need to practice the act of active listening. Instead of just formulating a response while your spouse speaks, you rather need to focus on truly listening and acknowledging their feelings and responding with compassion. So it's important that I always tell when somebody speaking, instead of talking back, just keep quiet. It is very, very challenging to do that, because most times, naturally, as fun as we are, if you are from a men's perspective, naturally, men, we have egos. We want to show that I am the man. But sometimes you need to choose your peace over your right. You are right, but just keeping quiet for 2 seconds is enough to solve the whole problem. The other day, in one of the sessions, I did say that averagely women speak close to about over 20,000 words in a day, while men speak only about 8,000 to 9,000 words a day, averagely. So if issues happen and then your spouse is speaking, instead of responding, try to listen. That is one key thing you need to learn from. Practice effectively. Now, you need to communicate openly and honestly.
Okay.
If an issue comes, you need to communicate with the person openly and also in a very honest way. So encourage an open conversation where both spouses feel safe expressing their emotions without fear of being judged. Most time people, when issues happen, let the person hear, let the person vent their anger, let the person throw tantrums, leave the person. Just observe. It takes two to fight. So when the issue flares up and you are screaming and yelling, and just be observing. Sometimes you might be stupid, but the essence for you being quiet is rather a virtue, because it takes a matured person to see things happen and just decide to keep quiet and relax about it.
Okay.
And that's important. And so I remember, for instance, there was an issue where a gentleman was having a discussion. The little boy came from school, and the man came back and saw their son sitting in the living room with powder spread all around the whole living room. The boy was sitting in the powder and playing around with the whole face and everything, basa in the whole living room. And then the television in front has also been powdered and then given a nice makeup with the powder. When this man came, fortunately or unfortunately, when he was coming in, he came in with his friends, and they entered the room, and here was this gentleman, young gentle boy, sitting on the floor, the whole living room spread with powder, and the television nicely made the powdered fun. At that point, the wife was in the bedroom, and the gentleman just spoke in.
Are you there? Hello, now.
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Fred.
Please finish the story, then we'll go back to now. Please, now hold on for us.
Okay.
So this lady just came from the bedroom, instantly started screaming on this young boy, started spanking the gentleman. And the husband's like, no, please, leave him. He's trying to learn how to also do the makeup that you have been doing. Everybody got fed up. But in the midst of that, if the gentleman has also not exercised restraint, he would have generated into a different story. And now if you couldn't take care of this small boy here, you've let him destroy everything here, the television is here. That was what the woman was doing. The gentleman had to keep quiet and say, oh, please leave him. He's also learning. But this little thing could generate into something, because the man could have felt, I have come with a visitor and you are in the house and the little boy has destroyed the whole living room and I brought a visitor with me. Quarrel will start.
Yeah.
But just a little difference have resolved the issue. So it's very important that when issues happen, you need to exercise restraint when you are dealing with such issues.
All right. So listeners, we have Mrs. Viola Nadonko also on the line, joining us on Topic Time today. Nice to have you now. I hope you have been good.
Thank you. I've been good. Thank you so much.
Okay. So let's continue with where Innocent left off. How do you show patience in a marriage? I mean, he's giving us a few pointers. Kindly try and add a few to it so that we can be fully fledged by it.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if patience has already been explained, but then
I did that in my intro, but if you have another version of it, I would love to hear it.
Oh, all right. Okay, I wouldn't explain it, but then I'll give a short elaboration on the research that I did.
Okay.
Which says patience plays a crucial role in marriage and relationship because it allows the couples to navigate their challenges, to help them understand each other, and to help them work through conflict constructively. So without patience, I believe a relationship and a marriage will be in shambles. So we as individuals, each one of us must be patient when it comes to addressing issues. And I would say that patience plays a vital role, like I said earlier, both in our marriages and relationship, because it helps us to overcome disagreements. When there is a disagreement, when we both don't agree on something, I believe that if we are patient, like Mr. Isima said, and communicate well, it helps us to overcome the things that would have erupted into a disagreement. So being patient with each other help us to overcome unnecessary disagreements. Say at the end white. Now maybe who say at the end off white. Now who say white. Then if there is calmness, the both of you can express yourself in a way that you can meet at a point to agree that okay, this thing is white. And I'm seeing it in off white. So I believe that when you are patient, certain things will not trigger a disagreement in your marriage. And also, when you are patient, we all know there is this phrase that no one is perfect. So it helps you to accept imperfections. Example, they say, Ebia mimi say, ye too kind. Mimi say, a kind I wahano. Ye funny say ya, ye beku say. Once say, men are me driving. Until the enya but train me funny say. You might be a perfect driver, but they are all banners way. They are who you overtaking. They are all doing him now all ban. He might be a driver, but not a perfect driver. And I said, like they say, a cheap driver. Into know, if we accept that, okay, so what can it say? If I shouldn't overtake, then let me wait. When the car passes, then we all go. You realize that while you overtake, then a car comes to pass. Oh, say your wife, the person you are in the car will be like, "Send me catch you." So it's not like um no one everyone is perfect. We are both not perfect. So if there is patience in the marriage or relationship, at least we all accept imperfections, correct ourselves, learn on the things that we are supposed to learn, add on to the knowledge that we already have,
Mm.
then together we would have a peaceful home.
Okay.
And and also I think patience also help us adapt to change because we are mini be
Mm.
change about yourself, it becomes difficult for you.
Okay.
Oh, say there are, like I said, there are fashion trends, there are your fashion trends, your educational trends, your a lot of trends coming on, especially Gen Z. If we as say almost me, I knew a year baby. There are some things that they know that you don't know, but if you are patient and then you look or listen to some of the things that they do, you realize that you'll be able to change for you to fit into whatever change that is, whatever trend that has come. So these are the few points that I would want to
Okay.
talk about.
All right. So,
Yes, sir.
how does one show patience in love? Like actively putting out patience, even in a form of criticism or the annoyance that something is giving you, you practicalize it in the mode of love, such that your message across is well delivered and hopefully accepted by your partner. How do you exhibit patience in love?
Okay, so in exhibiting patience and love, one of the key things is don't criticize.
Okay.
Learn not to criticize your partner. When you criticize the partner, the person moves into a defensive mood because he or she thinks you are attacking their personality. So instead of also trying to listen to you, they get in to defend themselves. And so instead of attacking the personalities, you speak it out in a different format. Mostly I love to share examples. So the other day a couple came in, and when they came back from work, the husband always comes back from work, and when he comes to sit in the hall, removes the shoes and everything in the hall, puts his bag and everything there, and watch the TV. And stay there and say, okay, bring my dinner, I eat, or at the living room there. He finish, leave the shoe and everything there, and goes to the bedroom. Now, almost every day, this lady will be telling the husband, needs to take this thing out of this place. Why always putting your shoes here? Why do you always do this? And we can't. Now send me the shoes. When that's a woman, baby. Then the husband will respond. So one day he said, okay, you call your husband. Why? When he says that, tell him, oh honey, today I see that you are very tired, very exhausted. You couldn't even go to the bedroom. Oh, you forgot to take your shoes. Now indirectly you are telling him he has left his shoes in the living room, but not that attacking him. Then you tell him, honey, if you leave the shoes here, and the children also come from school, they also leave their shoes here. I think this living room will become a shoe center. Everybody will see. He laughs over it, indirectly knowing that you are asking him to take the shoes or not to leave the shoes there. He may not take that offensive as you tell him. They be if you remember now, the Uber Gabesia, never you shoe go have, who socks munu can, and there is a living room, Mufumano Soba or By saying this, the man also say, the mom should be jumping to me, my time to go. If you know how I meant to have. But in the other way, you just speak to the person, it's very simple. You understand it, and try to get over it. So when issues happen, don't accuse the personality, don't attack the personality. It's something that we do, but we need to overcome that. Two cases happen. Two people, couples went for honeymoon. I share this most time. One of them, the lady was ironing the husband's trousers. And then while she was ironing it, unfortunately, you just go to a hotel, you don't know how the iron works. He ended up burning the trousers. Then he called the husband, honey, please, I have burnt your trousers. So the man came back, first night of marriage, I should meet trousers. 10 years, trousers are in the best show. Concentrating, I should meet one day, first night, first trousers at school. Another couple also the same thing. He also got in there while she was also ironing, bent the husband's trowel and called the husband, honey, please, I have bent your trousers. Please, forgive me. The husband said, oh, honey, thank God, my leg was not in the trousers. We'll buy a new one and we'll continue. This is the same case, two different approaches. These two relationships, one will always have peace, the other will always have conflict. But the first one, you building the relationship on quarrel from the very instance. Trousers wash trousers. But should that warrant statistics from very first day? No. So if you approach it in different perspective, you get the best out of the person. And so it's important that don't judge or criticize the person. When he gets to a place, you need to also let the person see the other side. No, this is wrong. Let's try to avoid it. I shared an example the other day. I was going to do an investment. My wife says, don't do it. I said, no, I'm the man. Order me. I ended up doing this investment. It backfired. Well, to tell you that this thing has backfired. But she knew that it backfired. You speak to her, she understood, okay, next time, please, I'm in the industry. When I say it, you listen. So now, all those decisions, I don't take it. She handles it.
Okay.
But if she had come and I tell her, some catch her there at the obese, and I call her, say, I say, I bet in her, I win you more when I bet in her, a premier. Instantly, so how we respond, communicate, that will help us in along the way. So don't judge, don't criticize, don't attack the personality. Find a smoother and a softer way of addressing.
Okay. Now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this question I will want very practical answers to it. So, what does patient mean in a marriage practically? If if a husband or a wife is exhibiting patience towards their husband, towards their wife or husband, how does it look like in terms of choice of words, in terms of mannerisms? How is one supposed to portray it so that you get the maximum effect you want to have on the relationship with it?
Okay, I would say patience in marriage is all about accepting the person for who they are, the person for who they are. And if you are in a marriage and then you can't accept your partner's flaws, their imperfections, as say, we are all not the same. You see, I know, say, there are times you will make mistakes, just like Mr. Sima said. Coding all throughout. There are times there will be flaws. There are times you will do things that are not perfect. But if there is patience in the marriage, you realize that the partner accepts their partners for who they are. They don't judge them on any basis. Say, we all know, say, you're humans, and as humans, we make mistakes. The mistakes are there. Definitely, nipa way. As how the shower dream say, we definitely get a mistake. So if you see it, it wouldn't come as a surprise to you. Obi or how Becca say, now dear, they be a mistake, but Sandy Panokas has a he or she might not be perfect. Obi are perfect, like I said in the beginning. So accept that there will be flaws, there will be imperfections. That one, say, mistake, if you wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
It wouldn't come as a surprise to you, yeah.
So there is acceptance that, no matter how it is, no matter how handsome or beautiful a person is, there is certainly a flaw that you may, if you're in a relationship with them, not be cool with.
Yes.
You need to accept that first of all. And then after accepting, I know that the most challenging part will be living through it, because they are going to do it consistently. But how to live through it and live that patient life with them is what I want to help our listeners in addressing it. Because yes, you have accepted that this is the flaw with my partner, and no matter how long we have stayed in a relationship, this man or this woman happens to be this way. How am I going to equip myself to be able to withstand this very thing that I know will come from him or her towards me every time? How am I going to just handle it in a way that it doesn't affect the foundation we have built or whatever level we have with our relationship?
Okay, I'd say the first thing that I want to talk about is you encourage personal growth. Both of you should understand that because there will be flaws, the both of you need to grow from ground one to the maximum point where the mistakes will no longer be significant. So you try and then grow yourselves out of the mistakes that you repeatedly do. Please, you get it?
Yes, I get you.
Yes. So you strategize it on personal growth. Okay. You say idea way. Yeah, idea to say the mistakes making. Me koya idea. Me say me. Then you go and do it. At the point that the wife told him, say, okay, next time don't do it. They have both grown from the mistakes that they were doing. So you encourage both of you encourage yourselves on your personal growth. So the next time when he's making a move, he will know that okay, this one I made a mistake. So I wouldn't do it this way. I would have to change and do it a better way this time. So the personal growth matters.
Okay.
All
right. So Zasma,
yes, sir.
How do couples learn to practice empathy?
Okay, so empathy is putting yourselves in your spouse's position.
Mm-hmm.
That is one you need to understand. So for you to be able to practice it, the first thing is make sure you put yourself in your partner's position. If issues happen, ask yourself, if I was in my partner's shoes, how will I respond, or how will I feel? So hello.
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, so if we don't
all right, you're listening to the Orange Lounge here on Radio Max 105.1 FM. We are on topic time, looking at patience in marriage and practicing empathy and understanding. Now we are looking at the question, how do couples learn to practice empathy? My guests on this segment are Mr. Innocent Asima and Mrs. Na Adedonko. Yeah, I know. Please go on.
Okay, so when you put yourself in your spouse's or your partner's position, then it helps you to see things from their perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So if, for instance, something happens and you don't have anything maybe in the house, there's no money, and you're left with the last straw, you ask yourself, if I was in my wife's position, how will I handle this? How will I feel? Maybe you are left with one bucket of water to bath, and then you know that your wife also come back from work. You ask yourself, if she was here and had only one bucket of water, what will she do? Will she bath all the water and leave you empty, or she will try to make it halfway to leave the water for you? When you're taking the decision, you're putting yourself in the shoes of your spouse, and that helps you to be able to address issues. Now, to practice the empathy, always think of what, when it is done to you, you will be happy or you will not be happy. Then you don't do it to your spouse. If you are insulting your spouse, ask whether if your spouse insults you, you will be happy. If you won't be happy, then don't do it. Okay. Then you are putting yourself in your spouse's shoe, and then that will help you to be in a better position. But if you don't do that, then it becomes another challenge for all of you in the relationship. So it's important to always see things from both sides, not from only your side. And that is very important in any relationship. If you don't try to do things in that perspective, you will always have challenges at the end of the day. So empathy is very, very crucial. And once you are doing that, another thing is always have the listening ears. Always have the listening ears. Listen to whatever your spouse or your partner is going to say before you make any comment. Don't just make comments. Always look at the size of every situation before you say anything. I have the philosophy, I say the face. God gives us the face. So when you look at the human head, God, being so wise, gave us two eyes. So always look at things from both sides, don't only from one side. Give us 2 ears to listen to issues from both sides, not only from one side. He gave us also nostrils, 2, to breathe from both sides. Before he gave us only one mouth to speak. So by the time you listen to it from both sides, see from both sides, smell from both sides, before you speak, you would have made the right decision in making any communication. And always ensure that whilst you're putting yourself in there, express understanding through your actions. Sometimes it's a challenge most times with men. Men tend to, we are not able to express our actions very well. When something happens, the man knows about it when you order home, but on can't show them home and I may be. And that is a challenge with the women also, because they don't understand the thinking process of men. When you come and tell a man, Pacho, scans of fear, and it's bad fear, then the man tells you, I'm thinking about it. The woman says, asking if what are you thinking about? Take a decision now. Forgetting that the woman processes things faster than a woman can think about 10 things at the same time while she's standing with you. While she's even talking to you, she has thought of things 5 different ways of solving that same problem. But men will take time to process it, analyze it, think through it, dissect before they come up with one solution. But a woman, while she's talking to you, she's making solutions. In fact, what she's telling you is part of the solutions she's telling you. but she may not tell you directly that this is a solution. So it's also important that you express your understanding through your actions. Then that also helps us in building empathy and putting the empathic aspect of us, and also always be patient and also forgiving. When issues happen, don't just jump into conclusion. And one case, people have diary for offenses that they can when something happens, they can quote you January 2020, 1964, give you date, give you time, give you second, even paint the whole room, the colors in the room for you. It doesn't work that way. And mostly, ladies are very good at keeping records of those things. All of us on the call now, if you ask each and everybody, especially the men, the dress they were wearing on the day they met their spouses, none of us will remember. Or even the shoes and whatever you're doing. But if you ask the ladies there, they will tell you the details of everything.
I'm going to do that when I go home.
They might tell you the first day they spotted you, the dress you were wearing, how you walk past them, or the words you use. They can remember everything. But don't carry that into a relationship where if issues happen, you continue to remember each other 20 years down the lane, 10 years down the lane, explaining the same thing. Once that happens, you will not be in the position of helping each other to grow. So briefly, I think Nana will also continue with the rest.
Yeah. The last question I want to ask, I want now to start, then you come and conclude for us. Okay, so now here's the question. Similar to the recent one we just did on empathy, how do couples learn to practice empathy? Understanding instead. How do they learn to practice understanding? Okay, please let's go on with it. Okay, I think Na is busy somewhere.
I lost you briefly, so if you could repeat that.
Similar to our earlier one on empathy, how do couples learn to practice understanding? And this will be our last on topic time.
Okay, so understanding is just similar to that of the empathy. And then the understanding is that when the person we encourage that when your spouse or your partner is talking, put yourself in the statement he or she is making.
Mm.
For instance, your wife comes back and says, "Oh, today I have been so tired, I'm so frustrated, I'm so this." I say, "Oh," when that person is venting all her frustrations and everything, just say that, "Oh, it's true. Today, even when I was watching the news, they were even saying the whole weather is so hot. And when the weather is hot, everybody gets frustrated about the whole thing." In so doing, you are understanding the person by putting yourself through what he has been through. You may not have been working, you were doing the talking while you was going through it, but just you trying to relate to what he's
doing,
he or she has gone through. Alternatively, also, it's also important that, and understanding may not be that whatever the person has said, you just swallow it, hook, sink, and link, and no. Even though the person has said everything, you may not agree with the person, but accept it as it is, and then try to make adjustment towards it. And the understanding may not be that, oh, all of us must go here, so by force, or they go. Women don't like that. They will ask you, why do you want us to go that way? What do you really need along that line? That's why you're asking us to go this way. Why the parent? Why then okay, I'm in front, now we turn back, and I no, why? Women will always want to find out those kind of things. But you need to be able to understand, the spouse to understand, and maybe why you are saying this is because of ABCD. Men mostly don't explain things. So the spouses don't tend to understand us how it's expected of us. And that is very crucial, that when you are dealing with your spouse, you need to always tend to put things in that particular perspective to ensure that things go as it's expected. When you understand your spouse, you don't tend to judge. You don't tend to attack their personalities, and then you try as much as you can to communicate with them effectively. It's one aspect we always have challenge with. Your thoughts must be honest, but they must also be respectful.
Your
Bibi
thoughts must
Banasa
be honest
work.
and always respectful. Okay.
And the challenge also we have in understanding our spouses is we always blame each other. We play the blame game. Oh, mukogo mo mamban chamiti na dibana onye ready. Ade bia man me kan de bia ma kan de dibana kokko ha ekede enti dibana onye ready. Ma brewasam. Maybe that day the traffic on the road was worse than it was coming before. So understand the spouse that, oh, okay, matter. But don't let it also become a habitual habit that every time you always want to find justification for everything. If that happens, your spouse may also begin to observe. And once he's observing, you know that that's what it says. And so it's also key that we need to also try as much as we can to take our time. And the key thing is choose the right time, quality time to communicate issues. There could be issues that happen, but if you don't choose the right time to speak about the issues, there will never be understanding.
Okay.
The spouse might get romantic. And so on,
because you chose the wrong time.
You chose the wrong time. You have to come from work and come back on our lectures. What can I refer? Until no ababetina ho. Obeya na nini my mom. What's the school fees? Scrap where I do, and now and number of you have what Mobeka to the matter. And so on, maybe is because the brain is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad would tell you that when you are coming, when your husband goes to work and he's coming from work late, and you know that your food that you are preparing is not early, just take a glass of water, put it in the fridge. When he comes, you give him the place, sit down, honey. Oh, I'm preparing the food. There's a few minutes to go, but I want to give you water first. Drink this water to cool yourself down while I rush back to get the food down. The man will tell, now mom is coming to bed. But that act alone means to the man that you've thought that even though he is coming in early, the food is not ready, but you have proactively thought about him. And so his actions will not be as reactive to you, but will try to understand you that, oh, okay, maybe him there. The man why late. He appreciates that they come them. And at least one man baby can come faster. Some men will accept it, but it all depends on how you present the issues. That is a challenge. If we don't present issues well, we'll always have challenges in it. The right time is very important when we are communicating. Mode of presenting the issues and how you present it is also very, very crucial. It's like people tell you that the kwapi will tell you, it's the same thing, but somebody has qualified it with please. So even though it's insulting, it will not sound insulting to you.
So somebody said that you should be very diplomatic, just like the diplomats do, that they can tell you to go and hang yourself and you actually look forward to it.
Instead of telling you are telling lies, they tell you you are not charitable with the truth. Now charity of
yes, but
the person lies telling you, but to tell you.
I also feel that sometimes you have to tell it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. Okay, now.
So you choose the right.
Yes, we choose the right time, choose the right words, and be. In other words, like understanding is fused with empathy. I don't know what Nana thinks of it.
Sorry, my line was breaking. So
don't worry, it is working now. Let's make full use of it. I was asking that how do couples learn to practice understanding?
Oh, okay. Okay, I believe that a couple must not assume that, okay, this is what you mean, but rather ask for what you want.
Clarity.
If I say that, I mean that, yes, make the person know that this is exactly what I mean. Don't assume that, or don't think that, oh, let me give you an example. Anytime I tell my husband these days, anytime I tell him that, babe, I want to talk to you, he goes like, hey, now the baby or something. It couldn't, it might not be that I want to talk about a problem or something, but
Mm.
maybe to share something that I am thinking with you. But he assumes that I'm coming to maybe bombard him with issues or something. So don't assume things
Okay.
or think like it is this. You are I would be one. So that's we are now, Becca. Let the person allow the person to express him or herself, and then know the context of whatever he or she is saying before you react to it.
Okay.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions. I'm taking note. I'm taking notes, but
And in not making assumptions, you would also learn to listen beyond the words that are being said.
learn
say,
to listen beyond the words.
You are discussing words. Yes, you are to listen, and whilst listening, maybe the person might be putting a problem before you, and might ask you to bring a solution or something. So as you are listening, think outside the box. By the time any panel say you know what to say.
Mm.
But on China, now I'm on Casa, we now can say, what's a mere case today? To them, fine, there are some issues that you have to go and sleep over it and think about it. But the little ones, I believe that as humans as we are, we must think outside the box to say, okay, as some we are okay, this is what he means. And I think that this, when he does it this way, meanwhile, now when he or she does it this way, it's going to help. So don't just listen to him for listening's sake. Listen and try
is
as much as possible.
a character trait of women. Most men cannot do that. we can only try.
Research shows that yes, the women use their brains more than, because they say they are passive. We are thinking we know what to tell you, and also you have to try as much as possible to understand the issue.
Okay, it's 37 minutes after 9 p.m. and you are listening to the Orange Lounge here on Radio Max 105.1 FM. We are on topic time. We have about 2 minutes to go. As we near the end, folks, it looks like our lines are not being good friends to us. So I would like to say thank you to you, Na, and I'll catch you on the other side. All right, the line is being terrible now, but I think we have said enough about our questions. So I'll do my conclusions and we'll end topic time for today. Okay. All right. Many thanks to our guest on the line, Nana. I said Nana, Innocent, and Na. Here are a few practical things that I will want you to, if you didn't even get anything about what we've said on the show on topic time so far, at least carry this with you. Okay. Number one, be patient with yourself and others, especially those who are difficult to love. And for most people, it is their children, especially when they are toddlers. But a little patience with them, and you realize how beautiful they are and how much they really want to exhibit and show you. Number two, don't snap at people when they frustrate you. Personally, I lost it a bit this afternoon in a discussion, and I realized that I wasn't the very best of myself, but that shows I'm still a human being, still have some things to learn. Number three, don't make critical or rude remarks to others, Maybe you can say it to yourself. But some people don't handle such statements very well. And your partner could be such a person. Assume the best about others. Assume the best about others. I know we live in a country where it is tough to assume the best because almost everybody is suspicious of the other, and people in marriage are not excluded. Number 5, trust in God's divine timing, sovereignty, and love. Trust in God's divine timing, sovereignty, and love. Do the very best that you can, but there is always the best bit that God takes care of on our behalf. Some of us appreciate that. Some of us barely do. Some of us don't even recognize that at all. But if you practice a bit of this and trust in God for His divine timing, sovereignty, and love, all things will come together and work out beautifully for your good. Right, that's it for topic time. Many thanks to my guest on topic time, Mr. Innocent Asima and Mrs. Viola Nadonko. Coming up shortly,